This is how you sell and lead and scale on Instagram right now. If you are ready to step into your authority and attract the right clients who can afford to work with you and who value the transformation that you provide, if you're ready to turn Instagram into a sales machine and have fun doing it, join me for my new free live training happening for the first time this year. It is called What to Post on Instagram to Make More Sales. I kept the title so simple because that is what you're going to learn. That's the transformation. That is the outcome. And I'm going to show you exactly what to post, why your content is not converting more, and how to fix it fast with my connection to conversion model. Now, this is for women who are serious about growing their business, not just collecting followers on Instagram. It is for women who are serious about leading in their industry and making sales without sacrificing their lifestyle. You're going to learn the exact social method that has helped women grow wildly successful businesses with simple, powerful content. And it's all happening live on August 12th or the 14th or the 15th of August. You get to choose which one of those classes you come to. They're all the same, but places are limited in each of the classes. Spots are free. So go to tracyharris.co/masterclass now to grab your free spot while there are still places, and I will see you there. Mums with Hustle podcast, episode 496.
Welcome to the Mums with Hustle podcast, where you'll discover everyday mum entrepreneurs killing it in their industry. Learn the secrets you can replicate to create your own success with your host, Tracy Harris.
Hello and welcome back to the show, or welcome to the Mums with Hustle podcast for the first time ever. My name is Tracy Harris. I've been a digital entrepreneur for 10 years. I kind of can't believe that because in my brain I still feel 30, but I'm not. I'm 41. And I've been doing this for a really long time. And one thing that I really believe we need to see more of is more women building beautiful, authentic, magnetic personal brands using Instagram. You do not need to be everywhere, contrary to popular belief. You don't need to be absolutely everywhere. But if you decide that Instagram is the platform for you, then you really need to take radical responsibility for how you're showing up on that platform, and also educating yourself on what is even available to you on the Instagram platform. So today's episode, I have titled Why People Are Loving Your Posts, but They're Not Buying From You, and how to fix it, because I know how frustrating that can be. You are in business to make an impact. You are not in business to feel like a slave to Instagram, to always have your face in your phone, or to just be showing up like a content creator. However, we do need to be creating content in order to build an audience and lead people through a customer journey. But we are not content creators. We are entrepreneurs. So if you are someone that is showing up, if you are someone that is creating great content, if you are getting likes, if you're getting comments, maybe you're even getting DMs from your audience, but when you launch your stuff, when you shift into talking about your paid offers, it's crickets. When you post about your program, it's silence. When you drop a sales link, dead engagement. And you start wondering, is my offer wrong? So maybe you go and you spend time breaking that offer or completely creating a new one. Maybe you start wondering, is my audience broke? Can they even afford my stuff? I even had one lady tell me the other week that she's convinced that her audience hates her because they just don't buy from her. They only want to reach out to her when she's sharing something for free. Or they'll ask her absolutely irrelevant questions to do with her outfit, which, is a lovely stroke of the old ego, but doesn't exactly pay the bills. So she's now wondering, or left actually feeling really resentful of her audience, which then puts her in a bit of a guilt and shame spiral because she's a lovely person, but she's on Instagram to make money. She's not on Instagram to be an influencer. And maybe it leads you to start wondering, is it me? Do people just not see me as an expert or good enough? And it feeds into those insecurities of never being chosen or not being understood. Let me tell you, it's not your offer and it's not the Instagram algorithm, but it is your content strategy. And that's because how we show up as personal brands, as leaders, as online educators, as coaches and entrepreneurs has shifted, or it needs to shift. Because the problem with your content is that you are training the wrong behavior. Likes do not equal clients. So if you've trained your audience to just be hitting that like button, this is a wake-up call. Likes do not equal clients. Views do not equal buyers. Some people are getting caught in that trap of chasing likes, chasing views, getting super excited when a reel gets lots of views, getting super down when the next reel doesn't do as well, but not noticing that just because those views are high doesn't mean that you're raking in the sales. Like, I know, I'm willing to bet that. I know that. Followers do not equal income. If your front-end content strategy is built to chase likes or views, you are accidentally training your audience to stay broke and disengaged from buying from you. And how do I know this to be true? I know this to be true because I've been on the Instagram platform for 10 years now, selling online courses, selling coaching, selling low ticket, selling high ticket, and I can see and I know what I can post to be popular or to get lots of likes. And I also know what sort of content gets inquiries from qualified leads. In other words, people that are the right fit and can afford my offers. So then when we're having conversations in the DMs, I have people signing up to my things or just saying, how can I work with you, Tracy? Your front-end content strategy needs to shift with the times. So I'm going to give you some signs for you to kind of assess that's going to let you know if you have a likes trap energy / strategy. Okay. The first one is your most popular posts are your free tips, but your offer posts flop. If that's happening for you, you've built a bit of a likes trap strategy. The second one, you are giving away so much. People feel served without having to spend a cent. That is a real thing. That can happen. The next one is that you're too afraid to talk about your paid offers because you know that engagement dips. So your stories views go down, or your engagement on your in-feed posts goes down. And we see this. I see this myself, but I don't stop posting because I've got people signing up in the background. And otherwise, I wouldn't still be here 10 years later. Okay. Same goes for many of my peers in the online space who I know for a fact are doing really, really well. Multiple 6-figure businesses, 7-figure plus businesses. And even they will attest to the fact that their content seems to get less reach when they're in a direct selling mode with their Instagram content. Engagement takes a dive, but they're not embarrassed by it because, again, on the end, they're serving people in their DMs, or people are coming to their webinars, people are joining, people are signing up for their sales calls. Like, they're actually getting the engagement that ends in revenue. So they're not bothered. The next sign is that you're attracting followers who love your vibe, but they're never serious about investing with you. And the last sign is that your DMs are filled with, oh, that's so amazing, instead of, where do I sign up? Take my money. Like, believe it or not, that's what is possible. So the shift that you need to make is everything to do with your content. It's a content shift, shifting from content that is all about the likes and the views and the vanity metrics, the things that people can see on the outside that makes it seem like your business is doing well or that you're popular, the social proof stuff, when in actual fact, we need dollars, we need conversions. So content that converts. It is time to shift, my friends. Now, I've been sharing this in my online workshops and Instagram masterclasses for years that we need to make this shift to content that converts, because your goal is not to be liked. Your goal is to be trusted, to be respected and invested in as a person, as a woman, as a founder that can get her people results. So, what fixes all of these issues? The first thing is that content where you're speaking directly to the buyer identity is essential. You need that type of content. So write that down. Content that speaks directly to the buyer identity. You must talk to the version of your audience who knows that they're ready. Do not waste another post talking to the one day I'll invest crowd. No, because you're always going to have to be proving and convincing to that audience. You don't want to talk to the one day people. You don't want to talk to the daydreamers. You want to talk to the doers. So you're going to talk to the version of your audience who knows that they're ready, who sees this behavior, this standard as a no-brainer. You're going to talk to those people. Number 2, you're going to post for conversions, not applause, because your content should have directional energy, meaning it moves people through your buyer's journey. It moves people closer to your offer. So you're going to start talking more about results that you've helped people create. You're going to talk about what happens inside of your programs. This is what I call the show content. You're going to show people what is happening inside of your programs and the results and the shifts that people experience, instead of keeping that as the world's best kept secret. You're going to include stories of transformation. Inside of my Social Method Society, we often talk about that. We talk about that as being one of the most powerful and potent forms of content that you can share. Stories of transformation. And you can tell these stories in a variety of ways. But you must share stories, your own story first and foremost, and then the stories of others. You're going to talk about the behavior of clients who succeed, because we don't want to be attracting people into your course community or your membership or your mastermind or your elite coaching experiences that are complainers and blamers, or people who just ghost. They join programs and they don't show up, they don't do the work, they don't ask questions, they don't seek feedback. And then at the end, they say, oh, that wasn't really for me. Oh, it didn't really meet my expectations, to be honest. Yeah, well, you didn't do the work, to be honest. You can spare yourself from having to deal with customers and clients like that right at the beginning with your content, when you speak to the behavior of clients who do succeed. Number 3, through your content, you can condition people to see you as a coach and not as a content creator. And that means that you're posting with more intention. It means more authority posts. Like I said, more client success highlights, more invitations into your world, which means you may be rejected. We've got to work on our inner game to not be so affected when people don't choose us yet. I always use the word yet. We don't just want people following us or engaging with us if it's just for the sake of engagement. I've always said, those of you that even took my first course back in 2015, you know I was saying this back then, but it's about quality over quantity. When we're speaking about Instagram for personal brands where sales and conversions is the goal, everything we do is about quality over quantity. So we're not getting caught in this likes and views BS that everyone else is getting caught up in. No, it doesn't equal sales. It doesn't equal retention. Less is more. So we're going to condition people to see us as the coach and not a content creator. And number 4, start using your content as a vehicle for calling out who your program is for and who it's not for. I kind of touched on this when I said that your content really can be a filter. You don't want to attract or even convert people that aren't going to show up or do the work. So start filtering right inside of your front end content. Talk about who wins inside of your offer and talk about who it is not designed for. If your mentorship or coaching spaces is not designed for people who need babysitting, hand holding, constant following up, then you need to be willing to say that. If it's not for people who want to sit there and learn more stuff, being in student mode because that makes them feel like they're working on their business when they're really not following through on the things that they're learning, then be willing to say that. I say that because my programs are very much focused on taking action, not on sitting there talking about the actions we should take, but actually taking it. Progress over perfection, failing forward, experimenting, getting our hands dirty, learning by doing. If you're going to come and just sit on the sidelines yet again, you're not going to move. You're not going to experience momentum. Start telling people how they need to be in your programs in order to win. Talk about the ones that are winning and how they're showing up. Talk about who it's not for. This sort of content pre-qualifies buyers. And I get asked all the time, how is it that my paid experiences or my paid online communities are so, it's like everyone is just a match for each other. And if someone makes it that isn't quite a match, they very quickly weed themselves out. They kind of know. And the reason there's this tight-knit group of people going for it and being so encouraging of each other is because I've pre-qualified those people on purpose with my free content here on the podcast and over on Instagram. That is a significant content strategy shift that all coaches, mentors, online educators, course creators, membership owners, mastermind leaders make this content shift, and I promise you, maybe you'll see a dip in likes and views, but you will see an increase in inquiries, an increase in leads, qualified leads, and an increase in sales and an increase in participation and retention once someone is in your world. And that is what keeps you in business. Mature business owners know that that is the stuff that keeps you in business 5, 10, 20, 30 years on. So I've got a little action step for you. I want you to open up your phone. If you're on there already, you can do this. And have a little look through your last 10 Instagram posts and just ask, would this content, go through each one, would this post make someone want to pay me? or just like me? That's a big question. And the next one, ask yourself, am I calling people into a transformation or am I just giving them a dopamine hit? Because there's a lot of that feel good, fluffy content online. And people go, oh, yeah, I like that. But they don't end up working with you. Are you calling them into a transformation or are you giving them a dopamine hit? Your posts can make people feel good or they can make people move. Your posts can be popular or your posts can be profitable. You can be the woman who chases likes, or you can build a business using Instagram, leveraging it instead of it leveraging you. When you lead your audience like buyers, they buy. You've got to lead them as though they are buyers. When you train your audience to watch but not act, they'll stay stuck, and so will your income. If this episode called you out or forward in the best way possible, and it gave you something to think about, screenshot it, share it on your Instagram stories, and tag me. And feel free to send me a direct message telling me your one action step after listening to this. I want to know what has shifted in you. I want to know what this means for your content moving forward, because the right content strategy fills your program with the right clients. And girlfriend, you are a leader. You're not an entertainer. Your audience will buy when you show up as someone worth investing in. And that's what we work on inside of the Social Method Society. It is for digital educators, coaches, mentors, and women building personal brands. Your audience will buy when you show up like someone worth investing in. So remember that and make the content shift. And I can't wait to hear what happens when you do. I'll see you on our next episode.